Joining us now is one of Donald Trump's accusers, Rachel Crooks. Rachel, thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
So what did you think when you heard Billy Bush speaking out really for the first time? And he mentioned you by name and said that he believes your story.
Yeah, I thought it was great. I was so happy that he came to our defense, albeit months later, but I thought it was wonderful that he was willing to do that, and I'm thankful for it.
He said that he imagines, or I guess he said that you must feel forgotten. I mean, in this Me Too moment, from Harvey Weinstein that started sort of opening the floodgates to Matt Lauer, I mean, and I could just list a litany of men in between there. Donald Trump is obviously still president.
Right.
What has it been like for you to watch this Me Too moment?
I mean, I think it's been great. I'm so thankful that other women are having the courage to come forward, but yes, I do feel forgotten. I mean, you can't help but wonder why people aren't talking about Trump and the people that came forward for him, and why is he immune to this? So it's been very frustrating, and that's basically why I'm here.
So let's talk about that. So in 2005, set the scene for us. Where were you working and what happened?
So I worked for Bayrock Group, which was a company in Trump Tower. And I saw Mr. Trump regularly because he used the residential elevators that were right outside of our office. And I sat right in the front, just behind some glass doors. So almost daily, when he would use the elevators, I saw him. And I guess on one particular day, I decided to introduce myself to him.
And then what happened?
So I knew he was a partner of, ours, so I wanted to introduce myself. I shook his hand. And he gave me a kiss on each cheek, which was normal, but he held onto my hand and he continued to kiss my cheeks over and over again as he sort of inserted small talk. He asked me where I was from, if I was a model, told me he had his own modeling agency, but he kept repeatedly kissing me, and then finally he kissed me on the lips.
Unwanted, forcibly kissing you on the lips.
Definitely.
And what did he say?
I don't even recall if he said anything after that. I want to say I think his elevator arrived, and that sort of ended the encounter. After that, I just kind of ran back into the office and called my sister. I was really upset.
What did you say to your sister? After something like that happens, what did you say? What did you think?
I think I was just in shock. I didn't know how to explain it. It was kind of like, this is something very weird just happened, and I don't know what to think. But it was awful because I remember feeling so confident when I approached him. Like, I know you're, a notable person, and that doesn't matter. I want to make sure you know who I am because I work for a company you're working with. But then it was just like this complete 180, feeling so deflated that he thought I was so insignificant that he could do that.
That's how you perceived it, that he must think of you as sort of what, an object, something that didn't matter, to be able to sort of force himself in that way on you.
I mean, I really internalized that, and wondered what image was I portraying that he thought he could do that to me.
And so often women do second guess themselves. And they do say, was it something that I was wearing? Is it something that I said? Was I being overly flirtatious? And you do all this soul searching. So when you found out that you were not alone, what was that like?
It was honestly like the first time I felt a little bit of closure, I guess, and felt some relief. But at the same time, I'm thinking there are others. That's not okay. How many people has he done this to? But it really made me feel like, okay, it wasn't me, obviously. It was him, and this is a, characteristic of his behavior. I mean, he seems to be doing this to a lot of different women.
At least 13 women. At least 13 women. These are just the ones that we know of who have come forward to accuse the president of being grossly inappropriate in some form or another. During the campaign, you did decide to speak out. And what did you expect would happen?
I mean, I thought people would take it seriously. I mean, being the president of the U.S. is such a highly regarded position, and you want someone with, I think, a good character. And this is obviously evidence of not that. You know, he certainly has some flaws, and I thought people would I don't know, take that into account at the polls.
When you say that you, and we've heard from other women also who are the accusers of Donald Trump before he was president, feel forgotten. Do you think that it's time to speak out more? I mean, to what do you account that you think the public has forgotten about these?
I think it's just evidence of sort of the political atmosphere these days. I mean, we're forgotten by politicians who think it's more convenient to keep Trump in office and, you know, have him just sweeping his indiscretions under the rug. I think we're forgotten by the people who want to put party above all else. And that's sad, because this should be bigger than politics.
We should say that President Trump has denied all of the allegations in very forceful terms. I mean, he's called all of you liars. In fact, there's a defamation suit from one of the women against him for being called liars.
Right.
What do you want to have happen?
Well, I would love to see him held accountable. So whether that's Congress looking into his, you know, sexual misconduct, I think that would be fair. And I hope that if that doesn't happen, people take it into account maybe at next election.
Do you want the president to apologize?
That would be great. That would be a wonderful first step. For him to acknowledge his behavior and apologize, I would definitely welcome that.
And so when you read the Billy Bush thing, I mean, I know, look, when I read it, and I'm not even sitting in your shoes, it felt like it was overdue, but it did feel as though he's trying to shed some sunlight onto this. And so what was your sort of initial kind of visceral reaction when you heard that Billy Bush was coming forward?
So when I read that, actually, I was picturing him on that bus with Trump and the other men. And I was thinking, you know, and at that point, it would have been great for someone to say that that talk is not okay. You know what I mean? So I guess, you know, I hope that that will start to change, that men will sort of interject when other men are making comments like that, or just actually acting on those types of behaviors. So it's not just the women coming forward. I mean, other men can help in this regard too.
Such a great point. I mean, we've had so many people say, in fact, men must be part of this or it's not going to work. Obviously, men need to speak out. They need to call it out when they see it, because obviously nobody wants to sort of paint with a broad brushstroke of all men. It's these individuals.
Right.
And so having had your experience in 2005 with then Donald Trump, when you heard the Access Hollywood tape, what did you think?
I mean, yeah, he's basically admitting to the behavior that I was a victim of.
And then have you followed the reports that he now is saying in private, maybe that wasn't actually my voice?
I mean, nothing shocks me anymore about him. I think he's a pathological liar, and yeah, it's not shocking, but it's sad that people don't, I guess, hold him more accountable for those things.
Well, Rachel Crooks, we appreciate you coming forward and telling us your story. We appreciate getting your perspective on all of this. Thanks so much for being with us.
Thanks for having me.